I don't think any of you considered this. For decades now, people have been counting calories with very limited success, if any. The idea of counting calories is deeply confounded. I'm going to explain exactly why in this short video. So calories are counted in a closed thermodynamic system. Us humans are an open thermodynamic system. We react with the outside world. We have processes going on within us to increase insulin and have other effects on other key hormones. These impact what is happening to different processes within our body. When you look at a food label, you'll find it contains 226 calories, just like this one here. However, when you look at the macronutrient composition of that food, it is not counting for the processes that happen within our body. So for example, the thermic effect of protein, which is well established as being about 20 to 25% roughly, will impact the total calories that food has once you've consumed it. Carbohydrates, thermic effect, 5%. That again impacts the amount of calories the food will contain once you've consumed it. One of the biggest issues, of course, is that food legislation is piss poor. Right now, in most Western world countries, we're looking at perhaps a 20% plus or minus deviation in terms of what is allowed on labelled food calories. So going back to what I said about this packet of soft cheese, the 226 calories contained within this, apparently, could actually have, 260, or they could have significantly less by the time you've actually consumed it. You won't know. Chances are it's probably got less than that. So a lot of the time we're looking at these numbers as key principles and overarching features of what happens to be within a food, when it just detracts from the point of eating itself, to be nourished. We can't use calories as a metric to work out how nourishing a food is. Now we look at the standard humble egg. This large egg will contain about 6 to 7 grams of protein, 6 to 7 grams of fat, and 0.5 grams of carbohydrates per egg. We know that's a good metric because it's a whole food and it's not been processed or calculated in a calorie burning formula thing to work out what is in it. This is a whole food and it's about as accurate as you can really get besides putting this through a lab, through a machine. So what I'm proposing here, count macros, not calories. Ideally, eat whole foods and go from there. Even better, if you can get the same food source with the same amount of fat, protein, or carbohydrates in it every time, measure the food itself. Bodybuilders have been doing that for decades. If you go back to journals by Mila Sarshev, further back, Dorian Yates, even Arnold, some of those guys in the golden era actually weighed their food. So weighing food is going to be the best measurement you have. And when you have too much food, particularly carbohydrates, can also be fat as well, then of course you'll gain more body fat. So measure food intake, not calories. Evidence to support my claim comes from research by Francisco Arancibia Albaite, and he wrote an article called "The Mass Balance Model Perfectly Fits Both Hall et al. Underfeeding Data and Horton et al. Overfeeding Data." I'll link that in the description below, but basically it's looking at calories in, calories out, and it's looking in macronutrient counting mass balance model. So when they compared the two of those methodologies, the energy balance model, the calories in, calories out, and the mass balance model, they found that people could achieve the same beneficial, positive physique outcomes when they tracked macronutrients, meaning it was a better determinant and predictor of body composition outcomes than counting calories. I still don't know why people can dispute this. It doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't. Tracking more factors, components, particularly ones that are actually accurate within a food, are always going to be better than tracking calories, one measurement. It's very simple, common sense.
Build muscle and lose fat on the carnivore diet.